Jimmy V and his insane Wolfpack team. Obviously, Jimmy V passing away a couple of I don't know how long after due to cancer, and now the Jimmy V Foundation is a thing because of that. But NC State is insane.
Mm-hmm.
How many games have they won in a row? They were in the first. They played Louisville in the first round of the recent post. 297 brackets somehow picked these four teams in the Final Four. So even through all the craziness, somebody had a little bit of a feeling, even though nobody should have picked NC State to go this far. I don't know how you can. They were not good, and things are falling in place. DJ Burns has become a star, and that's the beauty of college basketball. three guys that can guard Zach Edey. I know we had three guys as well, but UConn also has studs. 8-man. They have an 8-man team that can play with anybody. Heck, I let them play the Pistons in the NBA and let's see how that goes. I'm just kidding. I know that the NBA is way better, but no, UConn is going to make short work of the Final Four. I think the only team that could even give them be Purdue.
I would agree.
And that's just because of, the whistle. UConn's gotten a favorable whistle as well.
Yeah.
So UConn's going to go back to back. That is my expectation.
Yeah. Jacquez, do we have you now? What are your thoughts on these men's Final Four? Okay, we'll be with him in just a second. But I think I fixed things for now. Yeah, basically Final Four. Like I said, I personally feel like it would be super interesting. I want to say, it's going to be UConn and Purdue in the final, but I kind of feel like the more interesting story would be you have one of those 1 seeds and then you have one of the 11 or Alabama's 4, right? Yeah. 4, yeah. So I think that would be interesting. I would honestly like to see UConn play NC State in the final. And a bunch of people say, it's bad for basketball, like a team like is. I wouldn't really consider NC State they are kind of a Cinderella team, but not as much as
they would make history though.
15 seeds.
Cinderella.
They would make history.
But not as much as like FAU last year, right? But I was sitting here saying I want to see FAU, and all the guys are like, "Oh no, bad for basketball." I'm like, I would tune in because it's a random team, but no, they didn't make it. Sorry, how would they be making history? What are they the lowest seed to ever win? They are the
lowest seed to ever win by a substantial margin. Okay. The highest seed to ever win before this time was 4 times in history. A number 8 seed has won the championship with 2014 Kentucky and most recently 2022 North Carolina. 2011 Butler too. But those teams had studs on them. Kemba Walker with Butler. I think that was Butler. That might have been UConn. My brain is slipping, but those teams had studs regardless.
Yeah.
And this would be a run of ages if they could win it all here. It already is a run of ages. They're going down in the history books. I cannot wait to watch the 30 for 30 on this.
Jacquez, can you hear us?
I can.
Right. Sorry to kind of throw you in here, but any thoughts on the men's Final Four? Who do you want to see playing in the championship?
At this point, I want to see NC State go all the way. That big center, he backing it down. When you start thinking about whole basketball, you start thinking about Shaq and how KG played back in the day. He's definitely playing that style. And to me, I wonder, is his style of play is going to actually open more doors for people in high school to transport to play like that, because evidently his style is going back working. And then to me, that's probably the most Cinderella team right now in the Final Four. And I would like to see the Cinderella team, the NC State win. I'm not a big Purdue fan. I didn't think they was that good of a team. You know what I mean? I did not think they was that good of a team. Yeah. Zach Edey, the thing that makes him good is he just tall and it's hard to guard him because he's tall. You take Zach Edey out of that offense, I don't think they're that good. You know what I mean? So yeah, I like to see NC State win it all.
I honestly would too. I don't care if that's bad for basketball and the powerhouses are going. Things have to change at some point. Yeah. And I personally think that if NC State makes it, they deserve it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Everyone loves a comeback story, the underdogs. I don't know. People are like, it's bad for basketball. I'm like, a ton of people when it's not my team, I love upsets. Exactly. Everyone loves that kind of shock. That's why it's March Madness, because that can happen.
Is NC State playing Purdue?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And Bama's playing UConn.
That's going to be a crazy matchup. Zach Edey's so tall, and the dude, I'm pretty sure, that how big that NC State dude is. I don't know if Zach Edey can handle all that, because that's a lot when he going back. You know what I'm saying?
Give him a run for his money. Challenge him, please.
Yeah. I wonder how I don't know. See, I wish I could go back, and I wish I had gone back and watched more Purdue games earlier in the season, because
No, you don't.
I wish I did, so I could know for a fact how consistent this officiating is here as far as Zach Edey goes. But you're right. I don't really want to do that. I was just saying that to sound knowledgeable. I don't have the urge to. I hate Purdue, but no, at the end of the day, the officiating, was bad. But before, even if you had told me the officiating would have been fine, I would have known that Tennessee would have had a hard time. But in Vol fans' defense, every time there's been something with Purdue back in the Music City Bowl a few years ago. Tennessee lost, on a call that should have been a touchdown. It was very controversial. And then back in 2017, with Grant Williams, Schofield, all of them, when Tennessee made it to the Sweet 16 and went out to Purdue, Tennessee lost on a foul call, which was not a foul, in my opinion. So it all really comes down to the officiating. It's crazy how that works. I thought third time might be a charm for Purdue, but
is Purdue like a pseudo rival for us now? I feel like they're always the team we meet when we're trying to get over the hump.
I know.
They are in my heart now.
They are in my mind because I was at that Music City Bowl game, and it was honestly, it was really weird because this is kind of a tangent, but actually the head official, for that game, the head referee, I had met him earlier, a day before, in our hotel in the elevator, because he was wearing a Music City Bowl shirt, and one of my friends went, "Are you with Tennessee or are you with Purdue?" And he said, "Oh, I'm an official." And for the game, and she was like, "You're a referee?" He was like, "Yeah, my name is Jeff." His name was literally Jeff, and I think something like that. Something like that.
Of course, it's Jeff.
And we go to the game, and when they review it and announced it, it was his face on the big screen. We were like, "Jeff, how did you do this?"
We were nice to you, Jeff. Why?
I know.
That's funny.
The fix was in for Jeff.
How did y'all think Tennessee played? Just as a whole.
Yeah, so let's talk about Tennessee. I guess we could do, it's always emotional, our looking back on the whole season. But Tennessee and the matchup with Purdue, we can talk about that really quick. Yeah. What are your guys' just thoughts? I know we already know, obviously, that the officiating was very angering. What are your thoughts on Tennessee, Zach Edey, and Purdue, etc.?
Well, I will say we were favored to lose, not by a lot, but I know everyone looks at just Zach Edey and this mountain, but we were in that game to the end. I don't with all the fouls and everything, we were still literally 1 point, 2 point tied the whole game. We played well. We with that in mind, with all of those fouls, we still played good. Obviously, Dalton Connect is incredible. I think he had 37 points, just absolutely insane. And he gave it his all. I always feel bad when I just feel like he takes it as such a personal loss. I'm like, dude, you did everything you could, man. It ain't you. Things that impressed me in this tournament is Jemai Meshack. I was shocked. I always knew he was a defensive unit, but he really shined in this tournament, and I think he was a key part of our success in many reasons. I was super impressed with him. Joe finally was getting a few 3-point shots in there. Him and Gainey both had shots that were kind of crucial for our momentum, even though they weren't a ton. They both kind of kept us in that game. I know there's a lot of frustration going around about Jonas and how he played, and I will say, I know Jonas did not have his best game. He's an incredible player. We saw that throughout the season. # stop the Jonas hate, but he could have done better, but he was just not having his game. He was guarding an incredibly tough opponent in Zach Edey, and that honestly gave opportunity for Tobey to shine. Tobey did incredible, but he fouled out. And then JP came in. I'm so proud of him. Just imagine being a freshman sitting there and being like, "Hey, we're in foul trouble. I know you're a freshman, but can you guard the number 1 player in the NCAA? Thank you." And he played for 15 minutes and only had 3 fouls. He had a dunk over him. I was so impressed with him. It really shines a positive light on Tennessee's trajectory for the future. I'm really excited about us. We still have Zakai, we have Jemai, Tobey, our freshman. Cam Carr got a few good minutes in the previous game. So I'm excited for us. I'm really proud of our season. Obviously a frustrating loss. I don't think fans should take it as oh, this was our only chance. Yes, this was a dream team, but we're still in good shape. We hung in there, and we still have a lot of returning weapons. There's my rant.
That was a very good rant. I have to agree.
Talking about freshmen, I just want to say JP Estrella played for 15 minutes, only 2 points, but man, was he imagine
only 3 fouls.
You don't play a ton the whole season, and then you're in an Elite 8 game, and the coach is like, "Get in." It's not even the end of the game. You're not even up that. I would be. He did great.
Guard Zach Edey.
Yeah, literally.
Okay, Rick. Whatever you say, Rick.
Literally, like he's 6'11", but Zachy's 7'4". Like that's not even close. Anyways, Alex.
I'll be honest. I haven't been the biggest JP Estrella fan this season. I feel like when he's come in the past, I know during the Texas game he came in, and I believe that Texas responded with an 8-0 run, and in other points. But he showed so much growth during this game, and he really won me over. I mean, the expectation to it's either sink or swim. You're going to come in and guard the beast of college basketball. And he really gave it his all. And knowing that he's a freshman, and I'm a freshman too. I could not ever imagine guarding him, but he gave it his all. And this is a different kind of feeling for me personally to the end of a season. You know, in past tournaments where we go down early, this is the first time we've played a seed that was higher than us, ever, or at least during the Rick Barnes era. And you know, you're just kind of mad at the team because they didn't perform to expectations. But this team, they did perform. You got what you needed out of your star in Dalton Connect with playing all 37 minutes. He only missed 3 minutes of the whole game, and he had 37 points. I mean, what more can you ask from a guy like that? I was just sad. I remember I had to drive back to Knoxville after that game was over, and it was just a somber drive because you think, man, it's over. My buddy from Memphis, he texted me a picture of him crying, and I was like, it's not that serious, dude.
But it is. But it is.
That's how you know you've been a Vol fan for a long time, when it just stings, and you think, well, where do we go now? We're never going to have another Connect. But, you know, you don't need another Connect. You just, the pieces are here. It's not like our whole team is leaving. Obviously, you're losing guys like veteran guys like James and Vescovi, Vescovi, bless his heart. It's a shame he got the flu, but and
he was so ill.
He was so
ill. He was like, bro was pale white, and they're like, he can play. I'm like, I don't think he can.
I was like, bench him respectfully.
But this team still has some people coming back that they just got to go make a splash in the transfer portal, I guess. Yeah. And Rick Barnes has proven he can do that. So Bronny James to Knoxville. I
don't even know if I would do with myself if that happened.
Wait, is Bronny James like good? I don't even keep up.
He's Bronny James.
I know the name recognition gets him a lot of credit. He's okay. Like I wouldn't. Does he start for?
He did not start.
I don't think he does.
He only played less than 10 minutes a game. That's
probably why he left. He was probably like, I deserve more starting time. So
LeBron James can come on Rock Solid Sports when he comes.
That's facts.
Yes.
See, I
even if he's not coming here, that's like a random guest. It'd be awesome.
LeBron James.
Exactly. We want Bronny for LeBron.
Yeah. And can you also get your dad just like call in? Maybe like
that would be really great. Thanks, man.
As long as Devin's not on the show, he's a LeBron hater. Like, we'd be fine. No, I'm just kidding. I think Devin would geek out even if it was LeBron. But Jacquez, your thoughts on Tennessee Vols basketball? Anything you have to say watching them this year? Anything about like the Purdue game in general?
I thought overall they played very well as a team. I mean, when you talk about the defense like portion of it, I thought they did all they could on defense. I thought when it was time to make actual key shots to stay in the game, like they just couldn't make those key shots. I felt like there was time where even though Adult Connect dropped 37, like there was times where to me he was just kind of throwing up shots, like he almost lost his rhythm, or he was almost trying to put himself back in that game where they played, if I'm not mistaken, Kentucky at home, and he just started going off. I think that was the game.
Yes.
But I just don't think that like they could just find the rhythm as a team. I thought there was at different times they kept getting cold. I thought they was trying to find a way to fight back, but the fight back just wasn't enough. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's just not enough whenever you're playing sports, no matter how hard you're fighting back. But I think overall as a team, I thought Tennessee performed very well. I thought the Elite Eight is way further what people thought. You know what I mean? A lot of people thought they was going to get out in the round of 16, and I really thought I seen them in the Final Four. We take Zach, like I said a second ago, you take Zach Edey out of that, they probably blow past through Purdue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The matchup, it was just a real hard matchup. You're talking about a 7'4" dude, 6'11", like the 7'4" gonna win every time, no matter how you play it. But I just think overall, like I think Tennessee had a very successful year, and you know, a lot of people like, I'm so hurt, but I think it just happens sometimes, you know?
Yeah, for sure. People talk about Zachy, they're like, he's just tall. I'm like, exactly.
Yes.
That is why
so
he is able to force stuff. Like, did I think he had more than one foul? Yes. The entire game, he played like the whole game, of course. Yeah. But like, he is tall, and that's why he gets away with it. He had like 40 points, and 14 of them were or not 14. Over half of his points was from free throws, right? Like it's crazy. But yeah, that's men's basketball. I think it's been a good season. I am so glad that on my senior season we had Dalton Connect come over. Just this guy, like obviously, whenever you see that there's a new guy coming in for Tennessee basketball, it's gonna be a guy who was either really good in high school or was pretty good at his like smaller school, right? But he comes in and Dalton Connect, like I knew, like okay, yeah, that's solid. Like I saw that we recruited him, I was like, cool. But then he comes in and it's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have not seen a player like this for the Vols in forever. Even some of my favorite players back in the day, Admiral Schofield, probably my all-time favorite for Vols basketball, but Admiral Schofield, is different than Dalton Connect, because Admiral Schofield wasn't putting up like 40 points every game. He was a really good player, but it's different. So it's been really cool to see something like that here. And
I will say one thing I think we should remember is that like Dalton Connect, obviously he blew up this year, but he was always Dalton Connect. You have to have a team around him like we did for him to be able to get all those assists, get those points. And a lot of people kind of discredit Tennessee a little bit, like, oh, we can't do it without Dalton Connect, but like Dalton Connect could not have been what he was if he did not have Zakai and he did not have James, and we still have some foundational pieces of that team, and that's what was so frustrating to me, is because I was like, we have the team. We don't have the one-man show like Zach Edey, who basically was their whole team. Like, we have a great team of good guys who trust each other, who will step aside to let someone like Dalton Connect shine because they know that he is the best shooter we have. So I think we can all, Vol Nation can stay positive.
Dalton Connect shows up on the stat sheet, but if you look a little deeper, you'll realize it was, thanks to all his other teammates as well.
Yep.
For sure. We're going to take a short break right now. We're going to finish up next. Best for last. I want to talk about Caitlin Clark, honestly, and I want to talk about a little bit about women's tournament, and then, of course, what's going on in Buffalo. Stephon Diggs traded to Houston. Kind of crazy. We'll be right back. Stick around here listening to Volunteer Radio, 90.3 The Rock, UT's College of Rock. This is Rock Solid Sports.
Gregory from Pylon Reenactment Society. You're listening to WUTK 90.3 The Rock, UT's College of Rock.
Support for WUTK comes from Fieldhouse Social, the modern sports bar next to campus at University Commons. Fieldhouse Social serves American craft fare such as burgers, wings, and more with high tops around the bar, a separate dining area, and a center lounge with leather chairs and couches in front of their 23-foot LED TV wall for Tennessee and pro sports. Fieldhouse Social is an outdoor patio with trivia twice a week and sponsors Wednesday's Rock Solid Sports. FieldhouseSocial.com.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to support from the UT Athletic Department. The 2024 baseball fall season runs February into May with games against SEC rivals Georgia, LSU, Missouri, and more at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. AllVols.com. Students need to show a valid ID at the gate before entrance. Tune into Rock Solid Sports for UT baseball coverage, and The Rock wishes Coach Vitello and the Base Vols good luck on the diamond this season.
The Rock thanks Knoxville Ice Bears Southern Professional Hockey League team for their support. Their 2023-24 home ice season from October through April includes games with Fayetteville, Huntsville, Roanoke, and more at the Civic Coliseum downtown. Single game and season tickets at KnoxvilleIceBears.com. Rock Solid Sports features Ice Bears Wednesdays with news and updates. Volunteer Radio says, go Ice Bears!
The Rock thanks the UT Athletic Department and the Vols 2024 baseball team for their support. Coach Vitello and the Vols' next home game at Lindsey Nelson Stadium is on Tuesday, April 9th against Alabama A&M at 6 p.m. AllVols.com for game times and tickets. Students get in with a valid UT student ID. First come, first serve. The Rock says, go baseball Vols.
The Rock thanks Cool Beans, 1817 Lake Avenue, 1 block south of the Strip, for sponsoring and hosting Monday night Rock Solid Sports broadcast at 7 p.m. Cool Beans is the campus headquarters for food, brews, pool, shots, darts, sports, and more fun. Tuesday night is team trivia night, and Thursday nights are for bingo. CoolBeansBar.com or their Facebook page for more info.
Volunteer Radio receives support from Tennessee Smokies Baseball, the AA Southern League affiliate of the Chicago Cubs, whose 2024 regular season schedule features 6-game homestands Tuesday through Sundays now into September at Smoky Stadium in Kodak. Rock Solid Sports will have weekly Smokies updates. TheSmokiesBaseball.com, linked up at WUTKRadio.com.
Hey, y'all, this is John Paul Keith. You're listening to 90.3 The Rock, bringing Knoxville new music first.
Volunteer Radio receives support from the Tennessee Smokies Baseball, the AA Southern League affiliate of the Chicago Cubs, whose 2024 regular season schedule features 6-game homestands Tuesday through Sundays, now into September at Smoky Stadium in Kodak. WTK's Rock Solid Sports will have weekly Smokies updates. TheSmokiesBaseball.com, and a link is at WUTKRadio.com.
Knoxville, be sure to tune in Wednesday nights from 8 until 10 for The Alternative, featuring 2 hours of the best in Americana music from the station that first brought Knoxville music by bands from back in the alt country days, like Green on Red, the Blasters, the Jayhawks, Uncle Tupelo and Jason and the Scorchers, to 90s Americana like the V-Roys, Whiskey Town, Gillian Welch, Wilco, and others, to modern-day Americana musicians like Margot Price, Zach Bryan, Tyler Childers, Turnpike Troubadours, and Charlie Crockett. You'll also get classic Americana like Lucinda Williams, the Flying Burrito Brothers, and the Byrds. And there's local Americana by R.B. Morris, Cruz Contreras, Trisha Jean Brady, Adim the Artist, and others. There's always Patsy Cline at 9 and chances to win Bliss gift cards and passes to upcoming Americana concerts in the area. So, if Americana music makes your musical clock tick-tock, tune in Wednesday nights at 8 for The Alternative. Sponsored by Boyd's Chicken Grill, Bliss, and Bliss Home. And only on 90.3 The Rock, UT's College of Rock.
Welcome back into Rock Solid Sports. It's Wednesday night. We're here for our final segment, and we are sponsored, of course, by Fieldhouse Social, 2525 University Commons Way. Jacquez is down there. Jacquez, how's Fieldhouse tonight? They got trivia going on? It was busy last week.
Fieldhouse is pretty busy right now. Trivia is going on, and it's always a nice vibe to see everyone around their families just enjoying this day on a beautiful Wednesday.
Absolutely. And we're going to get into stuff here. We'll start with the news first out of the NFL. Stephon Diggs, the Bills' star wide receiver, is traded to the Texans for a draft pick. That was earlier today. Breaking news out of the NFL. Are the Buffalo Bills cursed? No, I'm kidding. They already are, and everyone knows it. But yeah, how are we feeling about this? Honestly, I feel bad for the Bills as someone who knows Bills fans personally and doesn't really have a reason to hate the Bills.
Yeah, I have a reason to hate the Bills because I'm a Chiefs fan, but I am a Josh Allen fan. I like his story. I think he's a good guy and he works hard, but they are really just like taking away all his weapons. Like I don't understand that move. Like, the Bills weren't bad enough to so desperately need to trade for that pick. Like, what? I don't understand the thought process at all. I mean, kind of excited for the Texans. I'm like, oh, Texans might, be pretty good on offense. Like, that's cool for them. But like, what are the Bills doing? Like, not your basically best receiver. Like, what are you doing? But I'm not really sure. I think the Bills were on the verge of kind of falling apart the season. Like, they had a 50-50 shot of like being where they were the prior season, and they kind of just fell off there at the end. But now I don't even know if they can come back right now.
I always could see the Bills, like the Bills as a team, I could totally see like going to the Super Bowl, but then at the end of the season, they just no.
They die.
Yeah.
They freak out.
And that's the Bills. That's the Bills franchise, honestly. I mean, was it 4 Super Bowl appearances during the 90s, and they didn't win a single one of them? I mean, that's ridiculous. How's that even possible? If you were a Bills fan right now, this is a day of mourning for you. Obviously, Stephon Diggs, a superstar. I know he's 30 years old, but he is a stud. And he is going to bolster this very prominent Houston Texans team that is kind of, the AFC South is having a little bit of a come up here lately. I know we've been the laughing stock of the NFL in the past, us and the division that the Panthers and the Bucks are in. I cannot think of the name of that division off the top of my head.
I'm so bad with divisions. All I know is AFC, NFC.
But the more important thing, just while we're focusing on the Bills, the wide receiver room right now for the Bills, you've got Curtis Samuel, who has had some good seasons in the past, and you've got Khalil Shakir, and then you have some practice squad guys. So let that sink in. Either this draft is going to be a hefty one for the Bills, or there's going to be some splash moves to get some stars back around Josh Allen, because you're wasting his prime. This is the window. When you have Josh Allen in the form that he is in, I know he had a shaky year last year, but he's Josh Allen. I would argue that he is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think you can name 5 quarterbacks better than him. I dare you to try, but I'm worried about the direction that the Bills are going in. I'm not a Bills fan personally, but I think that this is the sign of things to come for them, and not just going to be, cutting losses with Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Jacquez, any comments on the Stephon Diggs situation?
My biggest question is, who wanted the trade? Was it Diggs or the Buffalo Bills? When you start thinking about what Diggs did for the Buffalo Bills, you talking about key games, key moments, like 4th and 11. They're going to Diggs. They're going to throw it up. He makes a play dang near every time, 9 times out of 10, right? So my biggest thing is, like, why trade him? Is he not happy? Did he want to trade? Did they want to trade? That was the questions that I got. I didn't think, like, the Buffalo Bills are not good without Stephon Diggs. Like, Stephon Diggs brought the Buffalo Bills to life, in my opinion. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, they brought the Bills to life. So to see that he's going, and now that you just have Josh Allen, this is going to test a true character how good Josh Allen. Does he actually need a key star player for them to be good, or can he play with role players to get them down the stretch in this next season? So I don't think the Bills is going to be that good. I mean, it makes it easier for the other teams around them, because but that's an interesting take with Stephon Diggs definitely going to the Houston Texans, because I thought he would have played with a more veteran quarterback rather than a second-year league coming up quarterback. But this is going to be an interesting season for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure we'll have a lot of other NFL news, even though, I mean, the NFL never sleeps. Like, there's always something. So we'll be talking about the NFL till the season starts again.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
You mentioned Jacquez, the 4th and 11. You got to go to Diggs. Diggs is just as part of this Bills team as Josh Allen. Last night, before this trade happened, Diggs was on social media and he commented on somebody who said that Diggs was not important to the Bills and that quarterback Josh Allen ran the show and he was only good because of Allen. And Diggs responded, "You sure?" ? And of course, then this news happens. And then you look at the receptions. In the past 4 seasons, no other wide receiver across the entire NFL has had more receptions than Stephon Diggs at 445, with Davante Adams right behind him at 441. But this guy is a major part of the Bills, just as major as Josh Allen. So I don't know what's going on here. There's definitely stuff behind the scenes.
Rip the Bills.
Yeah, for sure. Really quick before we close out the show, on the women's side of the bracket, the Final Four has been determined. NC State. Why did I say the women's side of the bracket? The women's bracket. Hello, NC State and South Carolina, and then you got UConn and Iowa. And this is interesting because you both got a 1 seed and a 3 seed in each of these games. Do we think so? Iowa was able to come in and beat LSU, a 3 seed, but still we know a historically in the past few years at least good Kim Mulkey, Angel Reese, all that LSU team. They were not able to beat Iowa. It was very close, 94-87. Caitlin Clark in there with 41 points. With other, of course, help from others on Iowa. Martin with 21 and Angel Reese. Well, not the high scorer. She had 17. Johnson with 23, but still a very exciting game to watch. Let's say, assuming, I don't want to throw NC State under the bus, but let's assume that South Carolina stays undefeated through the Final Four, beats NC State, the 3 seed. And I mean, if it comes down to either UConn and South Carolina or Iowa and South Carolina, I think that Iowa and I think it'll be Iowa and South Carolina personally. But can anyone? My question here basically is: can anyone beat South Carolina? And who do you think would be the team to do that? UConn or Iowa, or NC State if you think that they can? But I honestly think South Carolina is going to the final.
I would agree with you there. South Carolina has had a really impressive run of performances. If anyone was going to beat them, I also think it would be Iowa. You got Caitlin Clark. I mean, literally NBA players are saying that they think, like Luka just said, she can shoot better than me. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, she's incredible. And it, unfortunately, as we saw with Purdue, it only takes one like incredible player that can really shut down a team. I would like to see both of them in the final. I think it'd be a great game. I would like Iowa to pull it out, honestly, just for women's sports in general, because that would just be the icing on the cake for kind of how they have changed the trajectory of women's sports. But if anyone was to do it, I think it'd be Iowa.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see, me personally, Caitlin Clark win everything.
Oh, yeah.
Her final year.
Yeah.
I think she deserves it, and I think it would be awesome. Also, it's South Carolina has their moments where they kind of slip up, but it's really hard for me to see them losing this. So I really have no idea. Alex or Jacquez, any thoughts?
I'll say my quick thought, and then I'll pass it over to Jacquez. But I think it's really interesting that this year in women's college basketball, we've seen the emergence of stars. You've got Caitlin Clark at Iowa, Juju Watkins at USC, Paige Becker's coming back from injury at UConn. But South Carolina, the team that's been at the top, doesn't really have that number one star. I mean, you've got Cardoso, who, of course, is a force to be reckoned with, but they don't have that go-to person, but they're still the best. So I'm interested to see that when it comes down to it in these close games with everything on the line, who is going to step up for them. But I think we're overlooking UConn in this UConn-Iowa matchup. Paige Beckers is a star. She is insane and incredible. And when you have a coach like Gino Auriemma, you have a shot. So I actually think that Iowa might get upset in the Final Four here, and UConn's going to go play for their 6,000th championship.
I don't.
Go ahead.
I don't believe. I think if it came down to it, it'd be South Carolina versus Iowa. You say that South Carolina don't have a star. I think they do. I'm gonna go with Malaysia Fulwiley. She's a freshman coming in South Carolina. She's been one of their key star players. Even though she's coming to the fifth man off the bench, she could do anything you would like her to do. She's another star coming up. But I don't think Iowa can withstand South Carolina. You talk about keys. They got keys from every stretch. They got people coming off the bench. And we start talking about Caitlin Clark. They only have Caitlin Clark, and she makes crazy shots. But we talk about crazy defensive team, a crazy team that plays very defensively, very well. I don't know if they can stand a chance. I don't know if South Carolina can stand a chance with the Iowa, and I think South Carolina pulls it out and finish their undefeated season.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see that as well.
Iowa does not play no defense. Sorry.
Yeah, Iowa is strictly, Caitlin Clark. I feel like they could be better about that. And I feel like if they lose, right, that's going to be the reason why, for sure. To UConn too. UConn's tough, like you said. Paige Becker's like everything. Anyways, they'll play on Friday, so definitely stay tuned for that. This has been our show. If those guys aren't talking about the women's games on Friday, call me and I'll call them, and I'm going to get mad at them because women's. You need to be talking about that. I know that we, in the past sway towards men's, but it's going to be really exciting Friday night to see those four teams face off. Anyways, we'll be back on Friday. As I said, The Alternative is up next. You're listening to Volunteer Radio, 90.3 The Rock, UT's College of Rock.
Volunteer Radio is WUTK 90.3 FM, Knoxville, Tennessee, UT's College of Rock. Streaming at WUTK.